Hello, beautiful people. It's Sinderfam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're back again with another video. So this video um is recent and is about someone sharing her story. So the this is directly from the channel Isis, also named as the Trophy Wife or Trophy Wife. So she is sharing her story. This was recently uploaded, but again, this is something that happened to her personally, just according to what we've checked. We don't know how true this is, but obviously, we're going to be checking this video. But again, before we check the recent video, I also want to do a deep dive or I also want us to check from the previous video she's uploaded so we know where all of this is coming from or how all of this started, so people know from the genesis or from the foundation. It may not be exactly or what it may not necessarily be a full story shared here, but I mean just for us to gather the bits and pieces to know where all of this is coming from and how she got here. So we're going to be checking this together and also share our commentaries as well. Let's check it out. So this is our channel description, and before we check the video, I just wanted to pull up our channel description so people understand what the channel is about. So this is titled "Welcome to the New Trophy Wife," where I teach you how to become your own dream woman and practice hypergamy.
Hey ladies, welcome back to the new Trophy Wife. Today I'm going to be sharing my story with you guys about how I went from being a single mom to a spoiled housewife in less than 1 year. And you can too. So, I had my first child when I was 17 years old. I intentionally got pregnant with my boyfriend at the time and basically turned into a child raising a child. A few years later, had my second child. So after having two children and being a single mom, I think that my self esteem was definitely low. I didn't know that at the time, but if I think back about the kind of men that I was choosing, it definitely was a reflection of my lower self esteem. I think that growing up, I was not taught the kind of men that I should be looking to attract and be in a relationship with. My mom drilled into me, oh, go with the man that's going to be the best breeder. And I think society drilled into me to go after the thug, the street dude, the swag type dude, or whatever you want to call it. But neither one of those was the best approach to going about dating and attracting a husband. So after having my second child, I was working hard. I was making really good money. I think I was making about maybe 90K at the time, which for me as a 24-year-old woman was good. I thought I was doing good. I had my own place, I owned my car, I was very self sufficient. All about the mindset of, oh, I can do it by myself. I don't need a man, as so many of us modern women say. You know, I can do it all by myself. And I soon realized after one Christmas of it just being me and my two boys that I wanted a family. I wanted more for myself. It felt so lonely and it was sad. It was really sad. And it was I'd say one of the lowest points in my life, and I realized that I don't want to do this on my own. I don't want to raise these boys on my own. I want a family. I want someone that I can love, someone that loves me and my children. And after that was when I decided that I was going to change the kind of men I was dating and what I was attracting. One of my sisters at the time had told me that I should create an online profile, and I was so against doing that because I was like, well, online profiles are only for people that are desperate, and I look good. I'm not desperate. I don't need to, I can find a man just going out. And um I was against it at first. And I think I also had a skewed version of what a high value man was at the time as well. I thought that a good mate or the man to go after was the one with the super nice car and a stack of money and the jewels and the chains on with the swag. Like, I thought that was the man that I should be going after, but that was definitely not the type of man that I should have been going after. And I learned quickly that just because someone looks like they have it together does not mean that they have it together. And typically, the things that that person is probably doing to get money is not sustainable and probably not something that you would want to be involved in.
First of all, did you hear the part where she said she intentionally got pregnant for her high school boyfriend? That is what many women do, many modern women do. Now you get the reason why many men scare away from or shy or run away from some particular women. And now her talking about having 90K as at the time, I mean, when she was a few years down the road, and now talking about meeting high value men. Now the problem here is many women think a high value man or high value men are this wealthy men, um and whatnot. But at the same time, we get it. These women, they want to have a man that is wealthy and all of that, you name it. And sometimes that's why you see many women say they want a man who makes six figure, seven figure, who is a millionaire and all of that. So lots of them, they are actually going for the wealthy men without even going for the wealthy men, because to them it's a lot easier, or it's better to cry in a Lamborghini than crying on a bicycle. And this is the problem with many women. We've covered this couple of times on the channel, where many women come out to say they want a millionaire, they want to date only millionaires or billionaires or six figure guys and all of that. And at the end of the day, lots of them don't even know what they're doing. But obviously, you know from what they're saying that they are only targeting men with money, because they just want a comfortable life, or they would just want a life where they don't spend nothing, they don't contribute nothing. It just the man spending his money, and they just want to sit around and lounge to be the independent woman or be the independent wife that or boss lady, that the husband is doing doing everything for them. They don't have to worry about finances. They don't have to worry about nothing. They have the princess treatment, the Cinderella love story that they envision to have, or they've been told to have as little girls. But again, let's continue to hear the other part of the story.
And after learning quickly that everything that glitters is not gold, I happened to come across Shira7 on YouTube, and she completely changed my life. And she basically taught me what a high value man is and what to look for when trying to find a husband. So I ended up taking my sister's advice and signing up for eHarmony. Yeah, she recommended Match, but in my spirit, I felt eHarmony. I don't know why. It's just something told me to do that one. So I ended up signing up for eHarmony. I created a profile, and I think the second person that I matched with was the man that I'm married to now, my husband, my wife. And it was very different. My husband and I have a 20-year age gap, and he was not the first older man that I dated. I actually dated someone like 10 years older than me, and that was just a buzz. A lot of people have told me that I'm very mature for my age, so someone 10 years older than me just wasn't a big enough age gap for me to vibe with. It just wasn't. Yeah. So when I met my husband, I knew right away almost. And people say that, but it was definitely true. I know it sounds cliche. Just from our first date, it just felt natural. I felt like I just had known this person already. It was so comfortable. So we went to a really nice seafood restaurant, and it was great. It was an amazing first date. And mind you, I think we both were kind of just dating different people at the time. And that's definitely something that I recommend if you're looking to, find a husband, is not just dating one person at a time. It's not good to put all your eggs in one basket. But we had a great first date, and I think he ended up asking me to be his girlfriend on the first date. And I said I would think about it. I know that the universe guru talks about how you shouldn't fall into the girlfriend trap, and it was kind of something that I just intuitively knew. Like, I'm not just gonna agree to be your girlfriend just after meeting you, because I know that it's you just want me to be your girlfriend so that you can get in my pants. So I didn't agree, and we both were, we were talking, but then for some reason we kind of stopped talking for a little while, and we both were dating other people and doing our own thing, and then I had gotten into a serious relationship with somebody, and I ended up falling for the girlfriend trap. But that guy had really been investing a lot into me and doing a lot for me, so I kind of felt like I had to. agree to be his girlfriend because he asked me multiple times and I finally agreed. So after me and him broke up, well, let me rewind. So me and him ended up breaking up because he just didn't really vibe with my oldest son, who was 5 at the time. I could tell that he was really just putting up with my kids. He didn't really embrace them. Um, Sometimes, we as mothers can tell like someone's just being nice to our kids for the purpose of being with you, and they're not necessarily invested in your kids themselves. And that's what I felt like from him. So it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel like a family, the kind of family that I was wanting. So I ended up breaking up with him, and we were living together. I know, we were living together, and I just like packed all my stuff and left. And it was crazy because the next day, my husband, my now husband, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I told him, I just got out of a relationship, and I kind of told him a little bit about why. And he was telling me like, "Oh, those are my boys," and he had genuinely really connected with my kids, and he was not the kind of man that was just being nice to them to get to me. Like, it was very genuine, and that was one of the things that I really loved about him. That was something that stood out about him versus the other men that I had dated, was he really embraced the fact that I had children because he wanted children. And so, he was talking, my lease was going to be ending very soon, which is why I had went ahead and moved in with my person that had became my ex. We started living together, and I told my husband, I was like, "Hey," it was so embarrassing to admit, but I was like, "I need a place to stay because my lease is ending, and I just broke up with my boyfriend, and maybe even if it's just like for a couple weeks, it's okay. Just while I look for somewhere else, because I had planned on needing to find somewhere else." And he was saying, "Well, if you're going to live with me, it's going to be as my wife, not as my girlfriend." And I was like, "Well, how spontaneous are you?" And he laughed and he said, "Very spontaneous." So then I was like, "Right." So we started entertaining the idea of getting married, like, immediately. And I, didn't want to get my hopes up. So I just said that, he's saying all these things, but I'm going to see what action that he takes. And so I had just got paid, and I was like, "Okay, we seems like we're really talking about seriously entertaining the idea of getting married. So I'm going to go and get the wedding ring." We were talking about getting married like the next week, and he was out of town in Colorado, so we hadn't seen each other. This is all talk over the phone, over FaceTime. So I went and got his ring. I think I paid like $300 for it. It wasn't like a super flashy ring like the one he has now, which is completely a lot better. But I went and got his ring, and the next time we talked on FaceTime, I was like, "I did something." And he was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I got your wedding ring." So he was like, "No, you didn't. Show me." So I showed him. I said, "Yeah, I actually did it. I don't know if you were really being serious, but we're talking about getting married." So I had a really bad habit of like spending money, and I was like, "If I don't get the ring now, then I'm not gonna get it." So I went ahead and got it, and that put the fire under him to, I guess, really go and look for my ring. Well, let me rewind. So then after that, I think it was like the next day, somebody told me to go online and check my eHarmony profile. So I went on there and I saw that he had updated his picture, and I was like, "Oh no, this dude is playing around. Like, I'm glad I didn't spend a whole bunch of money on this ring. Like, he was just playing." And I screenshotted it and sent him a picture, and I said, "It doesn't seem like we're on the same page. So yeah, I'm done with this." And he texted me. He was like, or I think he tried to call me and I didn't answer. And he texted me and he was like, "No, I'm serious. I am going to marry you," in caps. And I think that evening he like ended up going and buying my ring. Um, yeah, he went and bought my ring. And the ring that he got me is not the ring I have now. It was a nice ring, but it wasn't nearly as big as the rock that I'm currently sporting. But when he showed it to me, in my head, I said, "It's not about the ring, it's about the marriage." And I definitely think that that's something that you ladies should keep in mind, is that if a man is going to propose to you, don't make it about the ring, because that can really turn a man off and make him think that that's all that you care about, is having a big ring, when it's more important to have the marriage. And I knew that in my heart. I was like, "All right, I'm not going to say anything about the size of the ring. It's still a nice ring. I'm going to take it and we're going to get married." So we ended up getting married the next week. Everybody was shocked. I randomly called my mom, my grandmother, "Hey, I'm getting married in a few days." We had, we got married at the courthouse because I told him I don't need a big wedding. I, rather spend that money elsewhere. And we had a really beautiful wedding reception in DC at a really nice restaurant. It was gorgeous. So yeah, that is how I ended up getting married. But I think that also something that I want to let you guys know is that becoming his wife and really being the kind of woman that could just get a ring like that um, took work. At that time, I had really become a better version of myself, a better version than the woman that was dating thugs and, living in some kind of secular lifestyle. I had to become the kind of woman that a man would want to take around his colleagues and his mother and be the woman that's adding value to him just by standing next to him. But yeah, I know it's kind of a interesting story, but I also helped two of my sisters to get married. They both got married in less than a year as well. So I'm really good at knowing how to get women the ring and to get the kind of men that you would be proud of. So if you ladies are interested in learning more about how to become a trophy wife, then please click subscribe. I would love to have you here. Stay tuned. We are going to be giving all the tips, all of the information that you need to become the best version of yourself, to level up and become the woman not only of your dreams, but of his. So I will see you ladies next time. Please comment, subscribe, like. All right, well, that is all for today, and I will see you ladies next time.
So wait, no shades here, but first of all, she called herself a trophy wife. There is nothing trophy about this because she was seriously intentionally scouting for only wealthy men. I looked up him Harmony, the dating sites or the dating app, whatever, and there are lots of wealthy men on that app. That is why lots of these women scout and go on that app to scout or look for only wealthy men, and sometimes there are older men there. So talk about age gap. She was scouting and looking for only people who who are older than her, 20 years. Okay, I get it that lots of people don't have an issue with the age gap thing, but I mean, if she's scouting and looking for older men, maybe she has daddy issues or whatever. So that is from her own part to work. But let's even look at it from the other angle. Was already living with one of her boyfriend, her ex, before she met this her now husband. So if she was living with her ex, because her lease had already expired, so she was just hopping from one house to the other. That is not advice. That is not good advice. We get it. People in the West, they cohabitate and it's not a big deal. It's not a problem for them. But I mean, living with a boyfriend or living with somebody you don't even know just because the person told you, asked you to be his girlfriend, then because your lease expired, or you think you do, because you don't have a place to stay, it is an opportunity, perfect opportunity to move your things to live in with a man or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever. It's not making sense. Now you see the reason why, if lots of men are running away from women just because they know some women date them because they have intention, it is not their fault, because they've been going through, or they've been with series of ladies like this who only date them for benefit or date them because they want, because of what they want to get gain from them. None of this is making sense, because obviously sounded like she had some issues that she needed to deal with, but potentially just wanted to live with a man just because she didn't want to pay rent. And this is exactly what we talk about now. You see lots of these women say, oh, high value men, just because they want to be benefiting from the man. So obviously they insert themselves there or scout for men that are available to take care of their basic need. Now talk about her now husband. She got married to this man just because she needed a place to stay, so obviously she bought him a ring. A $300 ring is not cheap. Regardless of how anybody want to see it, a $300 ring is not cheap. So she intentionally bought a ring for him. $300. So talk about the ring. That means the man is wealthy or is got it. Obviously, so she put herself there, or placed herself in that position, or placed herself there so that the man would see her and placed the idea of, and just wanted to get married. She desperately needed companionship, desperately needed a partner. But again, this is the advice. You hear them say, oh, trophy wife, high value man, high value woman, and all of that. That's complete BS. And this is the problem, and this is the exact same thing we keep saying on this channel. Not everybody who gives dating advice or whatever advice on social media you should be listening to, because lots of people think because somebody is telling them or coaching them or guru or had or add guru to their name or dating coach to their name, that makes or that means the person is an expert. You are the person living in the relationship, but you will not stay focused in your relationship. You'll be listening to advice from somebody on social media which is not even making sense. When are these women just gonna grow up and realize that you have to stay present in your relationship, and not everybody that comes to give you advice on social media knows exactly what they're doing, because everything that she just is shared here is just like rolling and moving from fantasy. And this is the problem: many modern women love this fantasizing idea of dating or being with a wealthy man, a rich man for that matter, because at that, for them, they don't need to do nothing, because hearing the trophy wife or hearing to say, oh, she um was in a good place, it sounds like she needed help herself or needed to work on herself. But I mean, all of that does not matter, or she didn't care about any of that, because as long as she get a wealthy man, she don't need nothing. She don't need to bother, or she did not need to worry about herself or worry about working on herself. No shades here or no judgment from her, judgment at all. But I'm trying to establish this, or what went wrong, to the point where lots of women will not look at this. Lots of women will be like, oh, she got the perfect man, or she got the wealthy man, or she got the man that of her dreams and whatnot. But again, listen to the story very well or carefully. You would see that everything went wrong from the beginning. She herself literally what was desperate to get married, because this is not a question of was she desperate to get married. She was desperate to get married because a man proposed to you, or a man asked you. You asked a man, you told the man you wanted a place you wanted to stay with him because you needed a place to stay, your lease was expiring, and he offered you a place, and the next thing was, okay, you're only going to live with me if you will get married. And the next thing, you're hopping or going to get him a ring, a $300 ring. Now, how is that a trophy wife? Or how does that make you a trophy wife? It just sounds desperate, that you are desperate. You didn't even get to know this man enough. You don't know what he's like. You don't know what he likes or whatever. You just wanted a place to stay, or wanted to be in a place where you don't have to worry about your basic needs or your um or food the bills or whatever, because it was the exact same thing she did with her ex. So I mean, it's not any different from what she did now. So my question here is, how is that a trophy wife? Because it's not making sense to me. Maybe it's going to make sense to some people. And obviously, we're not judging her, we're judging her decision. But again, many modern women will listen to this and want to try to pinpoint or find something fantasizing about this. There is nothing to fantasize about this, because obviously, if your target is only for wealthy men, then there's nothing trophy about it. You only target wealthy men just because you want people that are going to take care of you. It's that simple. And many women do this. We see this all the time. We've heard stories or heard lots of stories all the time from many women talking about this. So the question is, so now, if men are running away from women like this, or modern women like this, do you think that is this their fault? So now, going from what she said, with all of everything that she shared here, I would love your contribution regarding this, or I would love your thoughts regarding this, because one, she was scouting or looking for older men. Two, she was also scouting and looking for rich and wealthy men. And three, she was looking for a place to stay where she's not going to worry, where she's not going to worry, or where she's not going to pay her bills, where is also going to be sorted out or taken care of by somebody else. So, what are your thoughts regarding this? I would really love you to share that. But again, let's continue to check the most recent video that brought us here, or the main reason why we decided to check this video.
Hi, ladies. Hi, trophies. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you hear any noise in the background, that's the new baby.
A lot has happened since the last time that I recorded. I think the last time you guys saw me, I was in my second trimester. And yeah, I think I did post an update in the community section when the baby was born. And I said that I would be back soon. And that was a few months ago now. I thought that when I came back on here that it would be to maybe do like some kind of newborn favorites or meet my new baby or something like that. But unfortunately, it's been a little over a month since I had to end up leaving my husband. I honestly don't even really know where to start with this, just because it's just such a hard topic. And I honestly thought that by the time I got on here that I wouldn't have any tears left because I've just cried so much. It's like I built this channel and this whole brand around being this man's wife and trying to teach other women how to attract good men and provider men and all these different things. And I truly held my husband, or saw him, as the bar for what every woman should, the type of man that, or type of husband that every woman should aspire to have. And I didn't realize that the person I married was actually going to be my biggest nightmare. So basically, when I first met my husband, as I've already talked about in another video, I think it was my single mom video, I explained, a little bit about how we met. And I really thought that that man was my Prince Charming. So when I first met my husband, I thought that he was my Prince Charming. I thought that he was my knight in shining armor, and he portrayed himself to be this amazing, upright, righteous Christian man, and I believed him. I think shortly after we got married, and this is something that I haven't talked about, I started noticing like certain things changed with him. And I just started to see a few things that I didn't like. But I honestly thought that some of these were things that I could get past.
Holy cow. Now, this is a problem. She left her husband. Based on the information we've established from her story so far, there were so many things wrong with it. And for the first part of it, the fact that she she just met this guy on dating site and they started talking, and the next thing, she needed a place to stay. She didn't know him well enough, but decided to move in with him. But he offered to get married to her. That would be the only reason why she would move in, and she agreed without knowing this guy. You don't even know what he does for a living. You don't even know what the kind of person he is, and moved in with him. Decided to get married, rushed off the wedding. We get it, lovey-dovey and all of that, where people want to rush and get married because it's a good idea, or you met the prince charming and all of that. But I mean, not everything that glitters is gold. And yeah, we're not judging her, we're judging her decision right here, because lots of people will look at it and say, oh, this was good, she met the prince charming and all of that. Now she's saying he is not exactly who she thought he was. Of course, you didn't get to know this guy enough. You rushed and you fantasized over the idea. I think it was desperation at its peak, and I think the it clouded her judgment, because at that time she needed a place to stay. She was desperate to get a place to stay, and he was the next available person that was willing to accommodate her, or willing to put to give her offer a place to stay, or give her a place to stay. So she didn't think that she should have known him better, or gotten to know him better, or gotten to know who he truly was or truly is. She just needed, she was just focused on what she needed at that time. And really, sometimes when people get too desperate, they may not see what is right in front of them. But again, this is sad to hear, to see that he arrowed her, and this is supposed to be a husband, because as at now, or as at this time, they were already married. Wow. Let's continue.
It's like sad to even say like I could get past some of these things. I don't even know where to start. 6 weeks ago, I was changing my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive. And immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her? Oh God. Gosh. So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was Daddy. I felt like my world ended on that day. My husband wasn't home at the time when she told me, but I knew he would be coming home soon, so all I could do was just say, don't tell him that you told me. And I just instantly started trying to think of how I could get my kids out of the house, because I knew if I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie, and that he would probably just continue to keep doing stuff to her, but just become more covert or more sneaky or whatever. As soon as my husband got home, he was actually picking up the boys from school, my 2 older boys from school. As soon as he got home, I told him that I was gonna go Halloween shopping with my sister, because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And I knew if I said something like, oh, I'm going to the grocery store, that it would be suspicious. Like, why am I bringing all the kids, and like packing things, like things that we would need and things like that. So going Halloween shopping was the best thing I could think of to just hurry up and get the kids out of the house. I'm sorry, I had to get myself together. So when I got to the hospital, they basically told me that we had to go to another hospital because they didn't do physical exams, like that kind of physical exam there. So a police officer escorted the kids and I to another hospital where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old. It still feels like a dream. Like, when this first happened, I just kept waking up every day and just hoping that this was a dream. Because it's literally my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. I myself am a product of RAPE. That's how I came to be. And was also, abused as a child by a neighbor's husband. And I specifically prayed to God that my children would never, ever, ever have to go through this. And I'm just not quite sure how this happened, why this happened. I just don't know how he was able to get away with it and so sneaky, because with my own trauma, I watch my kids like a hawk. Like, I don't like them sitting on people's laps. None of that. And he knows how much I cannot stand men like him. And to think like I couldn't even go to sleep in my own house and know that my children are safe. Just by me going to sleep, my children were left unprotected. So I don't know what the future of this channel is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to change the name or what. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I feel sorry for her based on her experience and her past trauma and all of that. But again, we don't know how legitimate or how true this is. But let's just take our words for it. But again, let's even look at this, because obviously from the information which she shared from the previous video we checked, there were so many red flags, or from the beginning the part of this video there were so many red flags that she already ignored. And obviously it sounded like he saw that she was using him or wanted a place to stay. So he saw it as an opportunity to take advantage of that. First of all, she didn't get to know who this guy truly was, or she didn't know nothing about him the initial stage, but wanted to get married because he offered her a place to stay because she was desperate to have a place to stay. So, I mean, all of that was breeding red flags. Not to say that if someone is offering you something, you should always also think that something is wrong. But I mean, the timing as at that time wasn't right, and something was already wrong somewhere. But again, the fact that he arrowed her in her own words and then her kids, it is a no, no. It is all shades of wrong. And if it is true, he should face the law or face the judgment. And also, in maybe she must have told him about her trauma or her past experience and all of that. So he saw it or took advantage of it. None of it is okay. We get it that she also made some mistakes, or made a mistake of not doing her findings or knowing who truly this guy truly was. From her own part, she was wrong in so many ways. Let's just be honest, and we're going to look at it on both sides. She was wrong because she was already desperate. She thought it was okay because it was wealthy or he's got it, and he offered her a very nice place to stay. So she thought it was okay. He was a perfect Prince Charming guy and all of that, and moved in with him, got married to him, moved in with him, and was excited, was happy with her life and everything, that she already got what she wanted. But so happened that it wasn't exactly what she wanted. It is really, really sad that this so happened, or she didn't have the happy ending that she fantasized already. I'm deeply sorry for her. I am. But let's even talk about this. What many women don't understand is the fact that lots of women fantasize that they want the Prince Charming just because it is what is displayed in Disney or in the movies and all of that. So they fantasize this idea of a man. And when the man surfaces, they don't do their due finding or due diligence to get to know this guy or who this man truly is. You don't even know if he was pretending in the initial stage or whatever. And sometimes they just want this luxurious lifestyle because others are having it or others are getting it, so they also want to get it without even working on themselves first or seeking the necessary help that they needed. And this is what they say: she trusted the wrong person and he took advantage of her, and the fact that she was desperate or she needed his help. It is wrong, all shades of wrong. But hold on, all of this was happening to her or happening in a marriage, and she didn't say nothing as at that time, or she just put up a smiley face, come up on the internet to give advice to other people, and ignored some of the things that really happened to her or that needed to be taken care of or needed attention. Did she, or because she didn't want it, or because she didn't want to believe it was true, or she tried to cover it with all smiles? But something is not making sense. Something is going on around. We're not downplaying her experience or her story here, but something is not right. It's either she desperately or just wanted to make believe that what happened to her wasn't true. I'm talking about her being arrowed, or the fact that she so wanted him to be this perfect guy and wanted him to change, or believe that he was going to change, or believe that he wasn't truly the person that was doing that to her or did that to her, or something else underneath that is not making sense. And this is the problem, or this is the thing we keep saying. Not everybody that comes to give you advice on social media knows exactly what they are doing. Sometimes some people just want to paint this picture perfect or so perfect idea of marriage and ignore the reality, because some people so want to live in fantasy or so enjoy living in fantasy than reality. And this is not the possible, and we're saying this for other people, not for her case. Her case may be different. It may be that she so wanted this not to be true that she did not believe it was her reality as at then. But let me know what you think about this, though. But again, it's so sad this so happened. But again, talk about dating sites and dating apps and whatever. People are, not everybody's gonna have good endings. Some people's experience is not always going to be the same as others. And talk about marriage, some people's marriage is also not going to be the exact same as others. This is the exact same thing we keep saying, that sometimes be present in your relationship, be present in your marriage and whatnot. God knows how long this has been going on for, that she didn't even take note of it. But it's a good thing that she so discovered this, or knew, saw this on time, and took the necessary action of getting away from this person, or our worst nightmare or our worst fears. Just imagine how long, or who else is done this to. She also needs to check the boys if he's not also done this to the boys. But I really love your thoughts regarding this. I would really love you can share other useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.